We mourn every loss of life that we've had throughout the coronavirus epidemic. And what I would say to, and our sympathies are with, obviously, with the families of the bereaved. What I would say to them is that we really owe it to them to continue our work in driving the virus down. And clearly this country has had a massive success now in reducing the numbers of those tragic deaths, and we've got it at the moment under some measure of control. The numbers of deaths are well down. But I have to tell you that we're looking at a resurgence of the virus in some other European countries. You can see what's been happening in the United States. And so it is absolutely vital as a country that we continue to keep our focus and our discipline, and that we don't delude ourselves that somehow we're out of the woods or that this is all over, because it isn't all over. And the most important thing we can do to stop a second wave, a really damaging second wave, is which would have real consequences, not just medical, but also for the economy, is everybody continue to observe the social distancing guidelines, to wash your hands, to wear a mask on public transport or in shops. And the most important thing we need to do is get a test if you have symptoms.
On all of those points, Prime Minister, you are now saying that you should isolate for 10 days, not 7 days. This is at the same time on the 1st of August that some national restrictions are going to be further eased. Confusion reigns, doesn't it? People are confused by what the national government is telling them to do. That's what you've left people with at this point at the end of July, isn't it?
Let's be clear that there's only one way of controlling the coronavirus at present. Obviously, we're making great progress with drugs like dexamethasone, remdesivir. We're able to deal with it in ways we weren't able to do in early March. But broadly speaking, the only way to control coronavirus is if everybody collectively obeys the social distancing rules and works together to drive the virus down. So that's why I make this point that I do. We've done a huge amount. Together, we've really reduced the incidence of the virus and we've got the number of deaths down. But it can come up again. And we've seen what's happening in other European countries. So what I'm saying to people is don't lose focus. Don't lose discipline, continue to observe those guidelines. And if you have symptoms, get a test.
Two regional questions to finish with, Prime Minister. Tourism is a vital part of the North Yorkshire economy. To go back to this issue of confusing people, should people stay at home this summer or should they have a staycation? Because to reiterate again, you're sending mixed messages to people, aren't you?
Well, I think we're very keen to support the fantastic tourism industry here in North Yorkshire and the rest of the country. And we've done all sorts of things to back it up, all sorts of investments that we've made in tourism, supporting the tourist industry throughout the country with the coronavirus packages of one kind or another, about £160 billion worth. But what I really would say to people is that it looks a bit wet now, but it's fantastic weather generally here in North Yorkshire. There are wonderful attractions in North Yorkshire and across the country. And I am not going to discourage anybody from having a staycation. This is a totally beautiful country throughout the United Kingdom. There are fantastic amenities, resorts, beaches, holiday destinations of all kinds, and I thoroughly recommend them.
Final local question, Prime Minister. In terms of local lockdowns, Bradford Council does have some additional restrictions on people in that city at the moment.
It does.
They're saying that as the further restrictions nationally are eased on the 1st of August, that the government is moving too quickly and too fast, and that as a result, cases in Bradford, but in places like Oldham, will go up. What do you say to the people of Bradford?
Well, what I say to everywhere that is seeing an increase in the virus, and I'm afraid there are about between 10 and 30 places where you are seeing it bubbling up a little bit. I say to them, I know it's tough. I know that it's requiring a lot of patience to get through this. We will continue to support it. But I think the country as a whole understands that the best way to deal with this is if we have tough local lockdowns, tough, swift and decisive local lockdowns to keep it and get it under control in those towns. It's principally in those towns, and I pay tribute to the efforts of local people in many places from Kirklees to Ashford, across the country. It's going down now in Leicester. They're making a huge effort, and I thank them for what they're doing. But that is the way to deal with it. We need to bring it under control locally to protect the whole of the UK.
And you feel your message is clear to people?
I do.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Thank you very much.
We will make America great again.